Hello and welcome back to the Steampunk Saga. So last episode we built the train, and in the comment section you guys had a few tips and tricks for me on how to improve our train. So let's jump in and I'll show you what we've done. So here's the old train without some changes, and as you can see in the new train we have a boiler on top with a whistle. We also added some shingles on top of that train engine roof, and that looks really cool. And obviously we decorated the area with a kind of like a very basic train station and some roses, hedges, and fences. Now, some of you guys last episode noticed correctly that I was in creative mode at the start, and that's because when I do those camera shots, I do them in creative mode, so I forgot to switch. Apologies for that. Now, as you can see, the train has 2 carriages. That's because 1 really wasn't enough, and 2 is a good number. This is a carbon copy, basically exactly the same carriage copied over here, with a few changes. So we added a couple more tables, and check it out. So we've got these half-advanced display panels from Create Railways Navigator. And what I think these do are let the passengers know what station is coming up. At the moment it says out of service because obviously the train has been stopped. So we're going to go over here, make sure the train is assembled. There we go. And what does the display say now? Oh yeah, non-passenger ride, what? So here we go, there's some interesting info on how to configure it, and it looks like we have to right-click using a wrench to set this bad boy up. Now obviously we're going to have to disassemble the train first, like this, and you have to be very careful when you do this, because if your animal is parked in the train seat, they're going to lose health every time you assemble and disassemble a train. And as you can see, Astra is almost on half health, so we've got to be careful of that. But here we go, the wrench on the display panel, and yeah, okay, so we wanted to display the train destination. We want it to be, well, let's try detailed or informative and double-sided. Oh right, so if we want to do the other side as well. Ooh, okay. Oh look, so it shows you a bunch of stuff. Interesting. Well, we're going to go simple because we want the big text. Let's reassemble the train and give Astra the train schedule. And yeah, as you can see, assembling the train didn't damage her, but when you disassemble the train, it does. So here you go, Astra. Here's a train schedule, and we're going to ride in the cabin with her. Wait, why is it not going? Ah, there we go. Until we get to the first stop. Now we've had a few changes in here. There is a bell, because you guys mentioned... Oh, my view is changing weirdly. Oh, there we go. There is the whistle, and it sounds amazing. Okay, time to change carriage, and let's ride in... Oh, no. Oh, we were too late. Oh, no, the door's closed. Guess we're riding the train now. There we go, now we're inside. So here we go. Oh yeah, unnamed train and governor's mansion. That reminds me. So I was asking you guys for a name for the train last episode, and I haven't checked through yet. So when we get to the final station, I'm going to pause things and take a look to see what was the most upvoted. Here we go, this is the industrial zone. Wait, why is it not saying industrial zone? Governor's mansion, that's not where we are. So it's a bit buggy, which is fair enough. Chugga 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 woo woo. Here we go, so when we get to the next stop, we'll pause things over there. So we'll quickly stop the train. No, come back! Oh, we'll get it when it comes back. So there were some pretty amazing names. There was obviously Trainy McTrainface, a classic. There was Coppervale Copper Rail, which actually I really like as a name. That's really cool. But the most upvoted one was the Flying Cog. So when it comes around, and it should do pretty soon, we're going to be naming this the Flying Cog. Now we've also added a few protections to the track because last episode we lost a colonist. Toodles got run over. Rest in peace my homie. So we've added these girders with andesite bars on top as kind of a way to stop colonists from getting onto the tracks. And as you can see, it's clearly not working very well, because Sheila is about to get wrecked by the flying cog. Oh my god, I'm not even going to stop this. Here we go. Oh man, it's like Red Dead Redemption 2 all over again. Oh! Oh no! Oh! There we go. So Sheila did get off the tracks. It didn't totally kill her. How much damage did it do though? Let's find out. Come here, Sheila. Oh yeah, 45 of 50. So she only took 5 damage from the train smacking her in the face, which is kind of unrealistic, but I'll go with it. And it means our colonists are generally going to be okay. So we're going to name our unnamed train the Flying Cog. There we go. And we'll give Astra the schedule again and set this on its path. Chugga chugga chugga, see ya! Anyway, yeah, so what are we doing this episode? Well, there's a whole bunch more buildings we want to build. I've done a few bits of research over here at the university that is now level 3, and that's opened up a whole bunch of new buildings. There's a few that we should have built a long time ago, like for example the graveyard, because then maybe Toodles could come back after being run over. But also there's the glassblower's hut for one, the flower shop, the plantation. There's a whole bunch that we want to build. So this episode we're going to fly around in the Quadimodo and get all of those built. But first we need to craft those huts. So check it out and take a look. We've got 5 more buildings that we haven't done. The glassblower's hut, the enchanter's tower, the plantation, flower shop, and graveyard. Now I also took a look and there's 3 buildings yet after this that we haven't done research for. Those are the nether mine, pretty important for getting your nether gubbins, the dyer's hut, which is where we do all of our dyeing of different color wools, carpets, terracotta, etc. And also the concrete mixer's hut, but that's not a big one because there is very little concrete required in these mine colonies built, so it's not an essential craft for us. Steampunk really doesn't use much concrete at... Oh my god, Sheila. It's... What is it? You've got a death wish, my friend. You are on 50 health, so you got your health back. But why do you keep hanging out here? Man, talk about Call of the Void. Anyway, let's get in the quadcopter and place down these buildings. So building number 1 is the Enchanter's Tower. Let's see what this thing looks like, because if memory serves, this was a really cool looking building. Okay, so this has a very small footprint. We can probably fit this somewhere quite easily. And what does it look like, a level 5? Oh my god, yeah, this looks really cool, really impressive. So we absolutely have to get this down somewhere. Let's go and find a spot for it. In fact, what about right here? This area right here looks like the perfect size for our Enchanter's Tower. So using the magic of the arrow keys, we can move this over really quickly. Oh yeah, lifesaver. And oh yeah, it looks like this thing slots in perfectly here. We're going to spin it around so the front entrance is facing the colony. Bring it down. And yeah, this area is the perfect size. Let's just move it so it's kind of central. There we go. That should do. Level 1 to start with. And tick the box. Boom. The next building we're going to be doing is also in the Mystic section, and it's the graveyard. So what does the graveyard look like? This is one of those buildings that Mixter was actually telling me to build ages ago. So sorry Mixter, but I didn't do that. At level 5, it looks fairly decent, and also it's relatively small as well. This is also going to be really easy to place around the colony. So let's find a spot for this. I feel like this area here over next to the train track could be perfect. We will have to expand out the platform that we've built here, but this should fit fine. So yeah, here we go. This fits quite well here. We are going to need to move those logs, expand them out. There's a lot of dirt in this build, wow. But this is going to be pretty cool, so we're going to plonk it here. So 3 buildings remain: the glassblower's hut, the flower shop, and the plantation. Now we're going to look at the size of all of these so we know exactly what we have space for and where we can put them. Number 1 is going to be the plantation. Now this could be a really big building. So this is what this thing looks like at level 5, and oh yeah, now I remember, this is the building with the massive balloons. So yeah, it's kind of fitting that this should be up by our airport. We're going to carve out a space up here. We're We're going to lower it down. And I reckon, yeah, the balloons mean putting this high up makes a lot of sense. Yeah, there's a lot of digging to do, but this should be good. Yeah, there we go. Crank it to 11. This is where we're going to put the plantation. Pretty cool. Amazing. So that's just 2 buildings left. The flower shop and the glass blower's hut. Now, I think these are both going to be much smaller. Yeah, here we go. This is the glass blower's hut, and this looks really, really, really cool. What does it look like a level 5, though? Okay, yeah, very cool, very interesting. Now, I'm not quite sure about these floating blocks of dirt. Is this build missing? I think this build is missing some blocks. What? This is very confusing. I'm not quite sure why this build is like this. But wait a minute, what's this? There's another building right next to it. And I don't really know what this is, but I think this might actually be a sifter's hut. So I think the sifter's hut actually comes combined with the glass blower's hut. If that's true, it's pretty cool. Let's find a spot for it. Okay, so this is a bit wacky and maybe slightly controversial, but what I think we're gonna do is place this inside the cave. We can lower this a little bit. The builder will have to dig out some of this wood, but I think this is gonna fit really well in here. The cave can be expanded, no worries. It's still a work in progress. Yeah, this is gonna be a great location, and I wanna get this built so we can find out what that extra building is that is attached. Because what is it? From the hut, it looks like it's the sifter's hut because there's water there, and in those chests underneath, that looks like gravel and sand, so a sifter's hut would make the most sense. Let's put it there. And now on to the final building. It's the flower shop. Now, where do we want to put the flower shop? It's weird because the flower shop can kind of come under many different possible designations. It's kind of industrial, but it's also kind of agricultural. It's also kind of retail. So I think, you know what, we're going to put it kind of halfway between the university and the industrial zone. There's a nice big spot here that looks like it should be okay for a flower shop. So agriculture, horticulture, flower shop, and yeah, and it looks like this is the perfect size as well. At level 1, this is barely a building, it's just an outdoor space, but at level 5, it does get all the bells and whistles and becomes a proper building with some fancy glass roofs. Very cool. So yeah, I feel like I'm happy with this position. Alright. Let's go and get the builders the things they need and get all of these buildings up to at least level 1. So here we are over at the glass blower's hut, and I wanted to take a look at the build options to work out what hut we were missing. And there it is, the concrete mixer's hut. That makes so much more sense, yeah, because it wasn't sand and gravel, it was actually concrete powder and concrete. Okay, anyway, let's get on with the time-lapse of some of these builds. So, here we go, the Enchanter's Tower and the Plantation. What do these buildings do? Pretty simple. The Plantation grows things that don't usually grow on farmland. So things like cactus, sugarcane, I guess cocoa beans, but also vines as well, sometimes kelp. And the Enchanter's Tower is a bit of a weird one. It's very unique to Minecolonies. You get an enchanter that goes around and kind of sucks up XP from your colonists and then uses it to get you enchanted books, but also you can make scrolls there that are unique to Minecolonies. They're pretty awesome and pretty useful. They do things like summon guards, heal your workers, I can't remember off the top of my head, but we'll cover them at a later date. But more than that, the Enchanter's Tower is just always a really cool and well-designed building in most packs, so it's always interesting to build and fun to check out. And of course, over here, the flower shop. This needs no explanation. The build itself is very simple, and this is where you grow flowers. Now, this has been a much shorter episode than usual, and why is that? Well, my dudes, we're packing our bags and taking a vacation. The Steampunk City is coming along really well, but it's at the phase now where we have to gather an insane amount of materials just to keep going. So what I want to do is take a break. We're going to go and check out All the Mods 10. Can't wait. Have been waiting for All the Mods 10 for a while, and it's finally at a place where it's playable and has not too many bugs. In the background, what I'm going to be doing is decorating everything around the colony and seeing if I can get all of these buildings up to level 5. But also, Dunsulfrenius has gone missing. I don't know what her story is. I'm going to need to check in with her and see what she's been up to, what's going on in the world. But a massive thank you for joining me so far in the series. This is a small break, we will be back, and I will see you guys for some All the Mods 10 pretty soon. But until then, let me know what you want to see me check out mods-wise in All the Mods 10, and I will do my best. But I'm thinking we're going to keep it simple. We're going to go back to our roots, maybe build a farm. As always, a massive thank you for watching, and until next time, my guys, take care.